Sip
Hello.
Happens, episode
Sip, hap-
14.
Sip happens. 14.
And it's just us today. We've had a string of fantastic guests. And while I have loved it, I've said to you every time, I miss just being able to chat with you because we have not caught up on like our normal stuff because we've been so interested to hear from all of these amazing guests. But now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Let's chat
Regular
about life.
everything. I know. I've been saving all the juice for you, but I feel like it's been a little quiet the past 2 weeks. We were in Maryland visiting Craig's family for the week, which was honestly like a vacation. It was so nice. Like so rarely does it happen where you travel somewhere with your kid. You're usually dealing with the kid, dealing with the kids, dealing with the grandparents, whatever. It was amazing. Like his
Because
mother, oh my God.
they take things off of your plate, right? They
They
take
are,
Max. They
I
are all
mean,
hands on
not only
deck.
do they take things off, there is no plate. Like the plate doesn't even exist there. It's not
That's
only
so rare.
it's extremely rare. It's the only place I can go to with Max where maybe the Six Senses in Switzerland where we had him in like kids camp, which is what you're paying for. This is like pure family that go and help. And Craig's stepmom, whose name is also Stefany, which is crazy, another Stephanie Mirsky, even though I'm still a Stephanie Miller, has the most energy. She's amazing. Wakes up with him every morning and they're
Did
doing
she
arts and
have
crafts.
kids?
Nope, no kids. She's the
Okay.
most amazing aunt to all of her brother's kids and then Naomi's kids and Max.
I love
She's
that.
amazing. And she's just this energizer bunny who wakes up with him and they're always doing activities. And it's just so rare. I don't see him for like 4 or 5 hours. What a beautiful thing. I do my own thing.
Such a treat. Oh,
So if anyone
excuse
heard
us.
that,
We're recording.
we're recording, but like it's also that's a beautiful example of like being on a massive family group chat is we're called the Ukrainians on my mom's side. And so there's 17 people on this group chat, which is horrific because you have people on this chat who don't even understand texting. And
Huh? Uh-huh.
so every other day I get unbelievable FaceTime phone calls that shouldn't be a FaceTime call. It's
Is
either
it
a
the
chat.
whole, they're trying to FaceTime the whole group?
It could be, sure. It could
Because
be
I
my
have a
FaceTime
group chat
group.
that happens with different generations of people where suddenly it's like 9 people trying to FaceTime and you're like, is this someone's butt?
But
Am I
more
supposed to pick
often than
this
not,
up?
it's always a mistake. They don't really want to
Yo,
FaceTime.
no, not
It
at
is a
all. And
pet
I've
validation.
actually, always go back and try to look, and I'm like, where is the FaceTime group button that they're accidentally hitting? What were they trying to hit instead of that? And I think we're now getting, I mean, you correct me if you're wrong, but in my family unit, I am still like the grandkids are now teens and 20s on my husband's side. I'm almost 41. They still come to me, the elder generations, asking for social media help and asking for technology help. And I'm like, when do we get to pass the buck on that? When is that someone else? When so and so, aunt, uncle, whoever has a phone problem, is that still on me, or can they go to the next generation? Like, I feel like it's time to pass the torch on those things. It shouldn't be up to me to figure out those problems. Still is.
Unbelievable. I mean,
Still is.
it's just the entire group chat conversation with an extended family is just
I've had to mute
there's so many
notifications.
politics too in terms of like hearts, like who hearts what or who gives a thumbs up.
People
I just
keeping track of who responds where, and if you
I,
responded to this person's picture but
I
not this person's picture.
kind of or like there's like a um so and so shared a picture of their grandchild. So rather than commenting on that photo and that message, I'm just going to respond with my own. And it's not like a one up, it's tit
And
for
then you
tat a little
miss
bit.
you miss that person doesn't get their opportunity to get all the responses. They all go to the
Yeah.
second picture. It's like, yeah, it's a lot. I've had to, the larger the group chat, the more likely, and larger as in the number of participants, the more likely it is that I've muted the notifications because for my own personal sanity and well-being, I can't have the pop because there's sometimes where it's days between people actually posting something, and then other times where, there's 2 people that will go off and go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and there's like 72 notifications. You're like, what did I miss? Did
Right.
someone have a
Yeah.
baby? Is someone dying? And you go in, it's just like people just bantering, and you're like, I don't need this. I don't need this blowing up my notification.
My aunt, she treats a text like writing a letter. Dear Stephanie, comma, next space, sends me, paragraph, love Aunt so and so. It's
Yeah.
Aunt Nancy. It's not a bad thing. She never
Yeah,
listens.
I have a family member who just it's the way they text brings me so much anxiety that I need to examine in myself what's going on, because it just frustrates me anytime a text pops up, because there's always something like, it'll be like, what are we doing for dinner? But dinner will be in quotes, and we're actually doing something for dinner with them. And I'm like, why is this in quotes? You're actually asking me about dinner. Is it dinner? Like, are you not feeding us? Like, what is the plan here? Or they'll say stuff that I'm like, you would never say this in person. Like, sent me a text recently and said, your birthday's coming up, and I wanted to know what your hopes and desires are for a gift. What?
What
What
are
do you
your,
mean my hopes and desires? I don't want anything from you. What are you
well,
talking about? Like,
actually, on that note, what are your hopes and desires for your
my
birthday
hopes and
coming up?
desires. Yeah, my hopes and desires. So we are going to spend a night in Manhattan,
Mm.
which is I'm excited about. We haven't done that in a little while. But Spencer, my husband, works for a hotel group that has a location in Manhattan, and we've never actually been to the one in Manhattan. He is always at the one here in New Jersey where he's working. So we're gonna do it a little staycation. I don't know if you can call it a
Mm.
staycation since we're crossing state lines, but I'm excited about it. We'll do just a quick in and out, go to some of our favorite spots, and not have the kids, which is always a treat. We were in Atlanta for 24 hours this weekend visiting my best friend from high school, who just got remarried to the most wonderful man. She found someone who gives her the love she deserves, and they were both glowing, and it was just so wonderful just to catch up and meet him and all of that. But I missed my kids. 24 hours, and I was like, I missed my kids. I wanted, and I feel like it's a trope of parenthood where you're like, oh my gosh, get away from me every time your kids are like with you. You're like, I need a break, I need space, I need space. And then as soon as you leave them, you're like, please send us more pictures of the kids. We're gonna check the cameras. We miss them. What are you guys doing? But I'll get over
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I get that. Like
I'll get
even
over it.
like this morning we drove, so we got in last night late after a road trip from back home from Maryland, or back home from Craig's house in Maryland. And was in the car literally with 8 hours with Max, dealing with Max. We went to Bass Pro Shop, whatever, long car ride, because he also doesn't watch anything in cars because he gets road sick. And so that's always fun. How many times can you play I Spy or 20 questions or whatever?
Yeah.
And like, okay, great. He's asleep. Woke up this morning and he slept in, and I like wanted to go wake him up because I wanted to like hang out.
Where's
I'm
my
like,
buddy? Yeah.
like, that's insane. What's wrong with me? Just let him sleep in and go do your own thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're your kids for a reason, I guess. And
Yeah.
also, I think I
Parenting is so
felt that
weird.
way because I literally was on vacation with him all week and didn't have to, like, that entire mental and physical stress of like just taking care of a
Someone
6-year-old.
taking off the mental load is truly a vacation. You could be anywhere. You could literally be in your own home, but if someone else is there taking off the mental load, then great. I mean, it's life changing. Oh,
I
I
started to
love it.
watch The Summer I Turned Pretty. Have we talked about
Okay.
that? So that's my new
No.
Netflix kind of guilty pleasure, which it shouldn't really be guilty pleasure, but that's my
Well, Hunting
new.
Wives could be guilty pleasured. Weren't you getting into that?
Did you watch?
We watched the first episode, and then
Keep
the
watching. It's
next,
so
I'm excited
salacious.
about it. I can't wait.
You
I
see,
can't
like,
wait.
I mean, yeah, it's just anyone who's, well, yeah, it's so salacious. I finished it in like 3 days because, like, this is pure candy. But all of my my mom friends and all my anyone who's not in high school has told me watch The Summer I Turned Pretty, and maybe we're all just like so hungry for nostalgia. But it's literally about a high school girl, and it's literally the summer that
That's what I
she
thought.
has her little
That's
glow
why I
up.
haven't, I've seen it everywhere, but I haven't kind of indulged yet because I thought it was a
It's on
tween thing.
Amazon.
Is
It
it
is. It's a
tweeny,
total tween thing.
but still
Yeah,
enjoyable?
it is. I think they're, yeah, yeah. Like, I think there must be some. I'm only on the first season, and I think there might be some like older plot lines coming up with the parents. But even so, I'm kind of here for it. It's the show that I watch. I call it like my foam rolling stretching show. So like after I've worked out in my basement, and I just want to like hide and recharge, I go in my basement, and like that's the show that I have on. That's like mindless. I don't care. I'm stretching, whatever. So that's like the purpose of that show.
That's nice. I I'm trying to read more, and I know we've talked about this. You're very much audiobook. I'm very much I need the paper in my hand. I need to like remember where like was I a third of the way through the book? Was I on the left side, the right side? Like just the tactile nature of reading really helps me to actually engage with a book. And so I think I've been trying to read more, and we went to this book fair, this local book fair, where I was trying to find just some book versions of that, just like turn my brain off, just easy reads, really simple stuff. And they had an erotic fiction section, and I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's jump into this. It was $1 each book, so I was like, let's just find a few. We're there with the kids, so I didn't have a lot of time to like figure out which ones I actually was interested in. So I just grabbed. There were a few different series, and I picked one up yesterday. This was a few months ago that we got these, and I finally got around to picking up one of my Smut books and realized that the collection that I selected was called the Jailbait series, and it was all about pedophilia. And it
Gross.
was literally like a bunch of older men, and because it was 4 books, and I was like, please don't tell me, because I like picked up the first one. I was like, oh no, and next one, no, like every single one, older guy, teenage girl, who then something happens, it all blows up, and then she's old enough, and then they get back together in the end. That's the whole setup of this entire series. And so now Spencer and I was like, you know
Oh.
what? I was excited about my smut. I wanted to get into it, but I not in that way. I wanted something else that was like a Hallmark movie with a little bit of sex here and there. Like that was, I need this, the cheesy, just you can turn your brain off kind of thing. Not, am I going to be arrested for reading this kind of thing? So we now have a nice little collection of kindling for the fall and winter. But I might have to pick up The Summer I Turned Pretty just to have that kind of book to scratch the itch with a little less smut in it. Because
I'm looking
my
at my
smut venture
Audible
did
right
not do well.
now. What's the name? There, it's the anyone who's. Oh, of course, I'm logged into Craig's profile. Anyways, there's that other one on Audible that I was listening to. I could not. Sarah wrote Sarah Moss. Oh my gosh, it's like huge. Fire fairies. It's
Nothing.
embarrassing. I can't think of it right now. I know it'll come. I'll Google it. It'll come back to me. But yeah, I mean, you need some. You need some good.
I found one. The author was Sarah Kate, I think her name was, because I looked up. I was like, all right, best authors, because I once Jailbait became my kindling pile, I needed something else, and I found one at the library, and I was like, great, perfect, I'll read this. Finished it in a day. Started it on a Friday morning,
I
finished it
should
Friday night. I
bet.
was like, this is exactly what I needed, and it was literally a Hallmark book, a Hallmark love story with some sex. I was like, this is great. Like this Scottish heir to a castle, and this American woman comes to visit, and they fall in love and have, crazy fun sex, and it was just lovely. But I need to find some actual reading that I can get into, because I finished my boundary book finally, and I need more
Mm.
books. I need more books.
Um, what about your psychedelics? You said you have something
Oh
psychedelic.
yeah, I did have something to tell you about psychedelics. I read recently that they're now trying to treat postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety with psychedelics, which makes sense. It definitely makes sense, but it's now something that they're actually doing more mainstream. And I've never, did you ever have postpartum depression or anxiety?
No, definitely anxiety. Like, I guess I would characterize it as like the blues. It wasn't quite I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'd characterize it as depression, but I was really down for for a while. And then and I got better. But like, I don't know if I'd characterize my down as depression. I don't know. Do you know? Like, if you're
I
depressed,
feel
you
like
know it's depression? Like,
I
how do
feel like
you?
yours was, I don't know that I would call, I mean, you obviously know better, but having been through that with you, I feel like yours was less depression and more like the worst physical pain you've ever been in, that you were just miserable and just not something, because you're a very physical person, and to be in a place where your body,
Yeah.
you can't even use your own body, and you
Yeah.
don't know your own body anymore, like that completely changes your mentality and the way you're wired. And
It was just like, I
yeah,
remember
it's a lot
like
to bounce back from that.
the first 3 months, I was like, this is not how I thought this would be. Like, I was so tired I could die. I was like, now I know what it feels like being so tired you could die and being sleep deprived.
Well, and
And
for people who don't know your full birth story, you had an emergency C-section after laboring and trying to go for the vaginal birth for a while.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you were feeling it from every angle, and then had to recover from a C-section, with a lot of people have been through.
yeah.
And no, it is not a fun process.
No, it is not. And I still haven't made it through the second season of the retrievals yet.
It's very close to home for you. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
very hopeful at the end. They talk about all the things they're doing to change C-sections and how progressing. But
yeah,
yes, I don't blame
yeah.
you.
But I mean, treating psychedelics for any sort, I think, of mental health,
Yeah.
I think you do it. And Amy, I'm having a hard time with names today, but I read the book called The Tell. It was kind of everywhere. What's her last name?
Sounds familiar.
Amy something. It was everywhere. Like Oprah picked it as one of her like Oprah books, and so it got a lot of publicity from that. But
Okay.
that was actually, I don't know, that would be a really great one. Well, I don't know if I'm going to spoil it, but that was a really great one to read. Basically, she kind of has been suppressing a bunch of issues and abuse from her childhood, and she never knows what she's been suppressing until one day she kind of has this remembrance, and then she goes to therapy and does again, one of the psychedelic drugs kind of help her process, and it
Yeah.
changed her life. Again, I'm coming at this without specifics because I forget specifically what it was. But Amy, that's driving me nuts. I have to Google it. But yeah,
I mean, I'm all for people trying all different things to treat whatever. I don't think I ever had postpartum depression or anxiety. I think I have regular flavor anxiety, that I'm sure was exacerbated by giving birth and hormones and your body going through, such an extreme thing. Um, and hopefully, knock on wood, I don't have postpartum depression or anxiety this time either.
yeah,
But if I do, expect to microdose with me. I'm going to get you on board. We're going to do it together. It's going to
sure,
happen. We're going to try
sure.
it. Let's see what happens.
Amy Griffin, The Tell,
Amy
and she's
Griffin.
actually a
Cool.
very, very
Adding it to my reading list.
successful investor and VC, very well connected, runner, beautiful, accomplished, like shiny, shiny, shiny from the outside, but then deep inside has been harboring all these dark, deep, terrible things. And she's basically like has this reawakening when she goes into therapy. It was great.
The
I thought it was a really,
human
really
memory blows my mind. I mean, I'm someone who uses that phrase very freely because a lot of things blow my mind where I'm like, how is this a thing? Even this past weekend when I was in Atlanta with my best friend from high school, her mom, her friends, all different circles, we were reminiscing about something. And they asked me, they were like, do you remember that time that you two were out having dessert and someone came up to you and asked to have your table because they were trying to propose and they paid you for your table $80 each, and then you took that money and you both decided to rent a carriage and go on a romantic carriage ride around Atlanta? And I was like, nope, no recollection. And this was in high school. So like I should remember something like that happening. That sounds wonderful and like a fantastic story to tell. And I feel like I don't even deserve the right to tell that story now because I don't remember any of that happening at all.
yeah. I mean,
How?
that's the
Where
weird
did
thing.
it go?
Yeah, if you choose to remember certain things, your brain
But how cool is
suppresses.
that non-memory? That's amazing. That sounds like something I should absolutely remember. Nothing. Nothing. Maybe I do need to start microdosing. Maybe it's in there. I need to unlock it somehow.
I say. I mean, yeah, yeah, post birth. What's your do?
We'll
Oh,
see.
December. Best time of year for you.
December holiday baby.
Right
Other
on your engagement party.
Yes, yeah, our anniversary is December 8th, so hopefully this kid gives us some space because like we deserve to celebrate ourselves first, not at the same time.
Seriously,
Um,
please.
the other postpartum piece of news that I've been seeing everywhere, and I'm sure you've seen this, breast milk ice cream.
Well, I think I saw this on TikTok. Tell me more. Tell me more. Is it
Breast
for the
milk ice
kid?
cream.
That's just what it is?
No, for human adult consumption.
The
Oddfellows ice
colostrum?
cream partnered with, it has colostrum in it, yep. Partnered with Frida, which is the brand that makes like the tons of little postpartum stuff, all of the things, the diapers, the ice packs, the spray bottle that you use to just help yourself stay clean, which you didn't do. You didn't have vaginal, so you don't know that spray bottle. Um, it's a fantastic brand. They do a lot of cool stuff, and I love this partnership. It's great. The branding is adorable. It's two little sketched boobs and nipples on the Oddfellows ice cream pint.
Where does the milk come from? Do women like donate it?
Cows. So it's not actually made with breast milk. It's not actually made with breast milk. It's cow milk, colostrum, and
That's not okay. But how do they market it though? They call it breast milk.
So it's designed to taste like breast milk and have some of the vitamins and nutrients that are found in breast milk, like colostrum. It's also
Weird. That's weird.
this. I haven't had it, but I've seen a lot of coverage of it.
Wow, yeah.
It is the color of Kraft mac and cheese, which you and I can both attest is not the color of breast milk. If my
No.
breast milk was that color, I would not give it to my babies.
I mean, it definitely has it's like more of like yeah, it has a
It's
tint,
like
right?
it's like a vanilla ice cream hue. Like I don't know why they didn't just stick with vanilla or what. Like this toxic bright yellow color. I also am curious. It's one of those things that has been everywhere in the press. They've done an amazing job, gotten great coverage. I'm curious if people are actually going to buy it because I don't know if it's actually going to sell. And I don't know if that was the intention or if the intention was just awareness for breast milk. But I'm
But
curious to
it's
see how it
not
does.
breast milk though. It's cow milk. It's ice cream
It's
with
cow milk.
colostrum.
Yeah.
They should
And
have marketed it as something that like colostrum enhanced ice cream, a healthier for you ice, or just like
yeah,
lean
but
into
that wouldn't
the
have gotten all
benefits
the
of it.
press. That wouldn't have been as exciting for
But
people.
it's not breast milk though. I don't. It's like false advertising, which not that that means anything these days, but
I don't
I
think, I mean,
know.
I guess you'd have to, I don't know what
Yes.
the trademark situation is on breast milk. If you're like, you can't call it that. FDA is really loosey goosey with what you can and can't do. So
So
maybe they're like, I don't know, sure, call it breast
speaking
milk.
of colostrum, I should brought in here. What I actually finally pulled the trigger on because I was so interested is so Ballerina Farm, right? We
Uh-huh,
know
uh-huh,
Bell.
uh-huh.
So her whole new line of proteins and her protein
Okay,
mixes. So
cool.
I got Instagrammed and I pulled the trigger on a quick little Instagram shop of her maple cinnamon maple colostrum protein because I just was getting I was a sucker, whatever.
Yeah, you fell into the
But I
trap.
cannot wait to try it. After I work out today, I will be trying that.
Okay.
I think about that entire, Hannah's entire line of
Is that her
whatever.
name? Hannah?
Hannah Nealman.
Hannah. Okay.
I so subscribe. And like when I say subscribe, I don't know if that there's a lot of conversation, I think, about her as a trad wife, about her as a, rich influencer living off the land, posing as a woman who is milking cows, yet her husband is the heir to the JetBlue fortune. All of this is true. I can't look away. I just can't look away from her content as she's
Yeah,
baking bread and looking like this, traditional wife. I don't know. I can't look away. Says the woman in a Cabela's hat 'cause I just got back from Bass Pro Shop. It's like
very on brand. Yeah.
very on brand. Well, on and off brand. Anyway, yeah, I bought her protein, and it's specifically marketed with colostrum. Like that's part of our whole protein line,
Yeah.
and leaning into that. She's also a huge like raw milk and all of that, but doesn't talk about any of the polarizing aspects of the whole thing that is raw milk because I think that also has become such a political thing. It's like I don't know, let raw
Everything's
milk be raw
political.
milk, whatever. I don't drink raw milk, but I understand the problems with it. So yeah, colostrum
Interesting.
protein. You call the milk
She's
what it
someone I
is.
know because she's always made headlines, but she is not someone I ever follow on social media. My social media newsfeed, the people I follow, I'm not someone who follows aspirational accounts. Like I don't follow people that I, love the aesthetic or love the vibe or love the outfits that I'll never wear that I love looking at. I think I flip through magazines for that. I use TV shows for that, but my social media feed is very much what is the random guy from my Spanish class in high school up to now? Oh, cool, he's having another kid, or, just keeping track of and tabs on these people that I actually know, whether they're close friends or just have been in my circle at some point in my life. And it's still, I guess there's still some of that is aspirational, if you will. Like there's still some people who are just living really cool lives and it's fun to see and you're excited for them because you have a personal connection. But
Yeah.
I feel like I don't follow, and maybe it's for my own mental well being that I don't follow a lot of people that I don't actually have a personal connection with because then I feel like once I break the seal on that, I feel like I would follow just all of them.
Yeah. I mean, I have a very different relationship with social just given like work
Absolutely.
and my job, but like
Yeah.
when I think about on I'd say a quarterly basis, I go into my Instagram and I really try to recurate my feed. And I'm at the mercy of the algorithm, of course, but I always have like a core group of people in my life who I will always never unfollow just because they're my personal
Yeah, of
friends,
course.
family.
Yeah.
But I try to specifically follow and unfollow and new accounts based on whatever whatever's piquing my interest right now. Like right now, I'm like deep into a country music hole. That's only because it's summer.
Great.
I'm sure that I will kind of get rid of that and maybe, this fall we'll going back to all things sports and NFL and college football. And then I have my marketing accounts, whatever. No one cares about this, but I recurate my feed based upon, mood and hope that when I go on there, it doesn't make me depressed like LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn has become a hole where, and I think this also says
Well,
something.
it's
I
a
mean,
social platform in and of itself, which I think is important for people to understand.
oh yeah, yeah, but
It's absolutely a
it's
social platform.
going on LinkedIn makes me feel so bad about myself. And I'm a pretty confident
Does
person.
it?
Yeah. But I think it also speaks to kind of like the career journey that I've been in for the past few years.
I was going to
And
ask, like, has it always made you feel bad about yourself, or just at this
no,
current
no,
chapter of life? Okay,
current
that's
chapter
good at
for
least.
sure. The past
Okay,
3 years, I'd say 2 years, maybe,
okay,
maybe even 18 months. But it definitely have a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn, where on one hand, it's been a brilliant platform for me to build my personal brand, my professional brand. Network has been absolutely important if you know how to use the platform for networking. But it's been very detrimental to me because even though it is just this platform for people, I'm so just humbled to accept this promotion. And like, I'm just like, fuck off. Like, I'm sorry, but like,
yeah,
I can't humble brag. There's no such thing as a humble brag. It's just such a, and
straight
like,
up, yeah.
pontification of 3 things to succeed as a leader. Here is what I'm just like, and of course, I realize like I have a very specific reaction to this because it's just so annoying. But love hate with LinkedIn.
Do you feel like you have to like put that sort of content out there as well? Like you have to play the game on that platform?
Sometimes. I mean, not lately. I think if I have if I have something good to say or important to say, I will share something. But I'm not, from a personal brand perspective, I don't show up and approach LinkedIn with a professional content strategy where I know that 3 times a week I need to talk about
Yeah,
X, Y, and Z editorial topics. And four
yeah,
times a week I know I want to engage with a really strategic, smart comment on whatever topic it is, to rise as an influencer, rise as an expert in this field. Because you know what, like any job, I mean, I don't know, maybe the landscape is changing, but I don't know. Yeah, but for me, it's done more harm than good. And it's just such a platform for like so much noise. But yet I also respect it because it can be so influential for
yeah.
building or shifting your brand or being seen as, you know, a thought leader in a specific space and understanding how to engage with it. So honestly, love hate on
When
LinkedIn.
I was director of marketing for a hospitality group 7 years ago, there was a member of my team who was very, very vocal about how we needed to implement a LinkedIn strategy similar to what you just said you don't do, saying we need to post 3 times a week, we need to post about all of these different things. This is what we need to be using these kind of hashtags. We need to be communicating with these kind of people because we were doing that across Instagram for 13 different bars and restaurants. And that was our priority, just focusing on Instagram and some Facebook stuff, but we weren't doing anything across LinkedIn. And at the time, the rest of the team was like, "What are you talking about? Like, no, that's so silly." But now, obviously, hindsight's 2020. I'm like, absolutely, that would have been a fantastic place to be posting things about investment opportunities for new venues, to find job leads for internal corporate team members or just venue team members, like whatever it is. It is a social platform, and just like every other social platform, it's a different animal. It's a different machine. You can't treat it like Instagram or TikTok or anything else. You have to understand it and curate content and a strategy accordingly. But yeah, it's not somewhere where I've been very active. I need to be better about that, especially as a small business owner. I could have so much, lead generation coming from there if I actually used it
Yeah,
properly.
it's become really spammy though. Like the amount of like DMs I get from like consultants and vendors, and it's a complicated platform for a lot of reasons. But it's also, I recognize that as a consultant right now, doing my own thing, like the way I counsel actually even a specific client right now, it's very strong and being very bullish on LinkedIn. But
Yeah.
it's through the lens of a very specific niche, a very specific founder, and he wants to brand build in a very specific way. And so, of course, LinkedIn is an excellent platform to do that if you do it in a responsible way, in a meaningful way, and you just don't want to go out there and be another voice hearing yourself speak and putting it out there. It's actually, quality over quantity. So, the LinkedIn world. But it's been nice. I've been actually really quiet on my phone for the past, I'd say like 2 weeks. And I even noticed like my
So
screen time's
nice.
down, or actually my screen time has shifted. I think it stayed the same, but like, I don't know, it's on like Audible and like New York Times and not
Yeah. It's
social.
shifted. Yeah.
Yeah, which has been so nice. So I get,
We going to Atlanta packed 3 books to read because we had plans for the 24 hours we were there, but we were like, oh, we're going to be in the airport on the way there, on the way back. We're going to be in an airplane, like bring books that we never get to read around the kids. This is an opportunity. Didn't touch a single one. Just carried 3 books the entire time. We're scrolling. Because you also don't have time to scroll when but
but you're
it's,
gone for a day. Like, how do you, like, what do you, I guess maybe you can kind of read on the plane for like an hour, but
but I also, yes, but then I also I guess I don't know. And we flew Southwest, which I love Southwest. Southwest has been good to us. There's a time in our life when we figured out how to play the credit card game, and my husband and I used points to earn a companion pass. So for a solid 2 years, he flew for free anywhere I flew on Southwest, which when we were living in Manhattan made so much sense. You could just fly in and out of LaGuardia. They don't go out in and out of Newark now, so it doesn't make as much sense to try and play that game. But it made so much sense for a while. We went, everywhere. We could just, jet to Chicago for a weekend. West now, as a 40-year-old woman, gives me so much anxiety. So much. The people
I
who
would. So
just
is it
traveling
still
in
like?
general,
Do you not have a
it's
seat
people.
assignment?
You don't have a seat assignment, but it was fine because baby meant I got to pre-board,
Oh,
which was
nice.
really
Yeah.
nice. So you could just get to go on before, and we were in the line with the 15 wheelchairs getting on board, which is really helpful because I had to have an aisle. I was peeing every five
Yeah.
minutes. So like if you can get me to sit in a window seat, but it's not going to go well for the people sitting with me. Um, but the people that still try to board when it's not their turn to board and then stand in front of the boarding area and wait for their turn so that the rest of the people can't get on the thing. And then the people who get on board and realize there's no more overhead space. So they walk all the way to the back of the plane and put their bag in the back of the plane, then walk up to the second row to sit in the second row for the flight, even though there were seats back there. But like all of this stuff where you're like, you are doing this poorly. There's so many better ways, more effective ways to be doing this. I have to be like, it's not my problem. It's not my problem. It's fine. But then that's the headspace I'm in to sit down and read my book. So that I didn't happen. It did not happen. But I will say the Chase Sapphire Lounge in Terminal B of LaGuardia is lovely. I
I haven't
highly
flown in and out of
recommend.
LaGuardia in ages. I hear it's just
It's it
a
was a
pleasure
it
to
was
be
a
in.
delight. It was a delight. Yeah, because it used to be brutal, but it is so lovely now. It's beautiful, it's airy, it's all fresh and clean, and all of the new restaurants and bars and everything, the lounges, and again the Chase Sapphire Lounge are just beautiful. You could book a facial while you're sitting there. We didn't have time for that, but you could just, the food was lovely, the cocktails, the whole space, the hospitality, the people that were actually taking care of the space and so attentive. It was lovely. It was a treat. So if you're flying in and out of New York, highly recommend LaGuardia and stopping by the Chase Sapphire Lounge.
When I was in Berlin 2 weeks ago or so, I flew business and it was incredible. The, United Polaris lounge, you have to be on, right, a first class or business class international flight. It is remarkable. It was so packed. And all I can think about is like like and packed with tons of families, tons of kids. And I kept thinking, who are these families with tons of kids and are flying business or first in Polaris in Europe with, I
Different
mean,
tax
my flight
bracket.
was like, I don't know, probably like a $10,000 ticket. Who, I don't know what that, it was an expensive flight. It was a, round trip to Berlin and international.
Which, for those listening who maybe haven't listened to other episodes, she doesn't know because she was flown there by a company,
It
not
was a,
because she doesn't
yeah,
understand expenses. She did not pay for it.
yes. But it just, the travel, I don't know, it's just the point system, the travel industry. So my comment is less on, I guess, like the price of it, but just like how many people are in positions to be
Afford
flying
it.
in 15, 20K Polaris with their families and small kids
I
to
am not.
Europe in the summer, because it's
I
just
am not in that
not,
position.
I mean, point, like if you can rack up your, your miles and points, absolutely. But I don't know. I mean, I personally, like, I love flying business. If I'm by myself and I have the ability to do so with points or whatever, I will do it in a heartbeat. But it's not how I would probably spend with family with three kids, is $30,000 on a first class flight with my kids to Europe.
No. Well, I also wonder, I mean, this is the way my brain would work. My brain's like, oh, even if I just bought that ticket for myself, does it give access to the rest of my family to the lounge and be like, you guys back of the bus?
No, they have to be, everyone has to be ticketed.
Everyone has to have their own ticket.
Yeah.
Wow.
So summer travel. I know.
There's
Oh,
a travel writer who I am friends with and work with often named Samantha Leal, and she, on her TikTok account, I think it's just her name, or is her handle, Samantha Leal, covers so many of tricks of the trade, how to collect more points, the best places to spend your points, the best lounges, when to do things, how to do things, the credit cards, how to save money on your credit cards to get more. Like, she's got some really cool tips and tricks. So I highly recommend following Samantha Leal. Also us on TikTok. Listen to Sip
follow us.
Happens.
I think the only Yeah, we do Amex points. But like the only system, like I'm very loyal to United because that's where all of my points are, and it's paid off
They're
because
Chicago based,
they are. It's Chicago. Yeah, I think Chicago's their hub, but Newark's a big hub for them too.
is it?
It's
Okay.
kind of just like Verizon. Like I grew up and I'm still literally on my family plan, which don't come after me because I pay for it for anyone who needs to know. Yeah, that's real fun.
Also,
I
you used to
Venmo
work
my
at
family.
Verizon. Like
It worked. But
you have reason. Yeah.
it's one of those where like I grew up, I've been very loyal to Verizon my whole life, and I likely will never change just because it's like it's the network I know. I've been on that plan
Yeah.
forever. So it's same with like United. Like
Well,
I've
and you get rewarded
always
for loyalty.
yeah, I mean Verizon I get no fucking rewards, so they need to fix that. But United, I'm not 1K. I'm like this like I think 1K is the highest status. I'm the one below that, I think is like silver. And I love the reward system because one, every time I book a domestic or even international flight, I always get upgraded to premium and economy for me
So
plus a
nice.
companion, which is
Yeah.
huge. Um, actually I feel like that's the only biggest point I get or biggest
That's a
benefit.
great
But still, it's
perk
still a
though.
great perk. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I
The
booked
greatest perk I got on Southwest is getting to pre-board because I am pregnant. So I highly recommend
I would, yep, I
flying while
would,
pregnant.
well,
Fantastic.
I know. So yeah.
There's one more note that I had in my notes that I wanted to bring up. Oh, have you heard about the bird's nest in Texas? There was just a big New York Times story about it.
No, but I've heard about the gerrymandering in Texas. Uh, but no, what's the bird? No politics, but yeah,
I
life's politics.
everything is political,
Yes.
as is the bird's nest that I want to
Oh,
bring up. But I do want to say that I love that gerrymandering is actually happening because I remember learning about the word and the concept of gerrymandering in school and was like, that's not real. That's not a thing. That's like such an old concept, gerrymandering. Like it sounded like I make a made up word, but it's everywhere now because it's happening all across the board. And that's the world we're in right now. Let's just redraw the lines.
yeah.
Anyhow, the bird's nest in Texas is this trailer park home, mobile home park built by essentially a woman who was priced out of the market and just sick of trying to find a place to live. So she just built this park home where now 9 other women live just for women. It's like a community. They each have their own little mobile home. They have dogs. They have garden that they plant together. They have very different political views. They, argue about stuff, but it's a bunch of kind of older women who couldn't afford to buy a home that wanted to live somewhere safe. And so they made this little community. It's like the concept of, I've seen so many people
Commune.
nowadays who talk about like moving in with your best
Yeah.
friends or trying
Yeah.
to, commune or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just for women. Women who have boyfriends, the boyfriends aren't allowed. They have to go visit the boyfriends at their houses. So it just was this big feature story in the New York Times recently. And I was like, I kind of love that. I love that concept. Aside from, I mean, I love the men in my life. Most men I don't need around me, so I get it. But I was like, that sounds just so serene and such like a nice way to spend the remaining years of your life surrounded by just women growing
I
tomatoes and knitting together.
I had this exact conversation with Rachel, my one of my longest time best friends, and we were sitting before about to do a race, and we literally had this exact conversation of how once we get older, if and when our husbands die, can we just move close to each other and just you be closer to each other and you just figure out how to live. And I don't know, I think it also speaks to like female friendship, and I was so moved by Dying for Sex with Michelle Williams. And then like what's her name? It was, have you seen it? That's another
I
one you
haven't
need
seen
to
it.
watch. It is,
No, I will.
it's
It's because
hilarious.
Jenny Slate's in that as well, right? I love Jenny
Oh
Slate.
my
Yeah,
God. It is like Jenny Slate's like most brilliant work. And it
I
is just
love
the
her.
most beautiful.
Also, sorry to interrupt, but no, Marcel the Shell is her most brilliant work. That's the bar has been set high with
Marcel the
Marcel.
Shell. Yes, yes, of course, Marcel the Shell. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. How can you forget about Marcel? But yeah, just a commentary on just female friendship and the beauty of that and no ego, and it's just
And
remarkable and beautiful
community and
community.
just the need for community and support. And I think maybe it was Katie Babineau who was talking about how men don't have that as much
No, yeah,
and that doesn't
yeah.
exist. Like I think women are so open about that, our love of community and mom talk, and I mean that in the like actual moms supporting each other on TikTok, not Mormon wives, because I know apparently that means both. But men don't have that as much. But I see like my husband has that when he goes to jujitsu. The men he rolls with in jujitsu, where he's like, "Oh my gosh, it was so great to see Greg again, and he brought his kid, and Emmy played with his daughter this time." And just that kind of community that they don't think of as community or don't talk about as community and their need for support and a network, but it exists in different ways for them. But yeah, I think there's so much of that that's publicized and talked about regularly for women and
Can I
not as much for
join? So
men.
can I join you when you're older in your
My commune?
commune?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, this is worth bringing up. There's a good chance that Spencer will still be around. Well, no, I think he's probably going to die first because apparently, if you have a baby after the age of 40, you are 4 times more likely to live to be 100. So
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. My husband is younger than me, but when you get up to 100, I don't know if that's going to make a difference. So I don't know if he's still going to be around. So I might need that community when I live to be 100 because I'm making babies still.
Yeah. You'll be there. I'll be there with
In all
you.
fairness, I don't think that the science behind this and the research included IVF babies. I think it's women who are able to naturally get pregnant after the age
Interesting.
of
Like, does
40.
it? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like being able to actually get pregnant or actually being able to carry the baby full term. I don't know. But either way, I'd love to be able to get to know my kids, grandkids, great grandkids, and live
Quality,
to
but like
be
my thing is like quality over quantity. I rather have a
100%.
quality, healthy quality of life, short, high quality than long and miserable.
Yeah,
So
I don't want to stick around just to be on a like plug-in machine so people can come like stare at my vegetative state. No thanks.
So before we end, what is one thing you are looking forward to? As I say, what's your rose and your thorn? That's a conversation I have with Max every night.
Oh,
In a form of
well,
gratitude and prayer, we say like, what's your rose of the week and your thorn? So forget about the thorn. What is the rose that you're or the bud that you're looking forward to blooming in the next week?
I turned 41 this week, so I'm excited about that.
Oh,
That's
yay.
my bud. I mean, I don't think I'm not a big birthday person. I'm not like something's gonna happen. My life is changing. But I do appreciate the fact that it's a new year, and I am excited to see what 41 holds. I know 41 is going to be an interesting year for our family because we're having another kid.
Mhm.
Spencer's going to be 1 year into this job. I, have work stuff that I'm juggling. So I'm excited to see what 41 brings. I also know that there are thorns that are coming with 41 as well, which is okay because that's what life does. There's buds and thorns. So yeah, 41. 41's
Good
coming.
one. Good. Well, cool,
And from
man.
what you've told me, it's pretty awesome.
Oh,
Like
yeah, as
you've
the elder
you've already
statesman here.
you
Yes, as
know.
the elder statesman, I can tell you there's not nothing but light.
Can't wait. Light and microdosing. So can't wait for all of that
Good.
in 41.
Amazing.
And then hopefully you and I can actually figure out a time to get together because we've been using our weekly chats
I
to
know.
not schedule in person.
I want to come to your boat club, but you don't have a boat. I
We
only use
don't,
you
but
for your boat.
we still have friends' boats that we can use to go to the yacht club and eat chicken fingers and drink rosé.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And one of these, we need to be sipping on these. It's just like, oh, the two things that I have to do this week is for all of our dedicated listeners, we're working on some merch. I want to get our merch strategy down,
I
if only for
know that was on our
myself.
to-do list. It's on
Yeah,
our
that's
to-do
fair.
list.
Yeah.
We also, if there are people who are still listening, please and thank you, would love some recommendations and ideas because we have been so excited about our guests, but would love to know who else you want to hear from. Not like a specific or a specific person, but if you're like, I'd love to hear from a teacher, I'd love to hear from
Yeah.
an astrophysicist. We'll
Yeah.
do our best, but if there are any recommendations or suggestions, let us know because we would love to get more fun people on here. We have a few ideas brewing, but we want people that everyone else is excited about too.
Let's do it. All righty.
Cheers.
Cheers.